Good morning everyone, I'm back out fossil hunting today. Believe it or not, it is still summer in the UK even though I'm in increasingly large quantities of clothing. The joyous 30-degree temps have all disappeared. But today we're out at Runswick Bay hoping to find some new things. It's been quite a while since I was last out here actually, 3 or 4 months ago, much to my shame. It's a very good spot for finding some really nice ammonites that split much cleaner than they do down at Runswick Bay. So the goal today is to head along this sandy beach coming from Runswick. You head along to this little headland here, and that headland is where you can start finding the good fossils. And if you keep going, there's a second headland out there, that's where Kettleness is. And between the two headlands is a good section of beach to hunt. So if you're ever coming down here, I will just show you the beach. So you start from the village there, Runswick, you can park in the parking lot there. You walk past all of this section where it's sandy. I'd even suggest skipping most of the early section of cliffs unless there's any fresh falls, and then getting quickly along to that headland, that first headland, and then you get to a nice little beach, and those are the places you should really start looking at Runswick Bay. So you'll find a lot more around there and save yourself the time. And because Runswick has also got this big sandy beach, that unless the tide is really high, you can actually get around a lot earlier. So you don't have to necessarily give it as late a start, so like 3 hours after high. You can sometimes creep a bit earlier than that to get around to the fossil areas here. That being said, you do take it into your own hands if you are coming down earlier than 3 hours after the high. That it is a risk, and you look after yourselves, please. Anyway, I'll be back with you when we find something. Last time I was actually here, there was a big ammonite preserve in one of these blocks. I suspect, without knowing for sure, that they have long gone, with everyone wanting to have a look at them and probably trying to collect them without actually realizing that the shell preserved ammonites are pretty much impossible to get out. Yeah. So it was there, it is now gone. So we'll see if we can find some other bits. Scrappy old piece of fossil wood. And there are some nice bits where you can find jet further around, again on that headland where I'm just headed. So we'll hopefully see a bit more down there. I think I say it every time I come here, I just can't believe how much this area changes. Last time I was here, this sandy section was all rocks, and I found a little bone block about here because it's a waterfall. It's always a good landmark. And this headland here, every time I come there's less and less rock. So it's obviously eroding quickly around here, which means there should be some good fossils. We've got a little block here. You might see that there's an edge that looks interesting. I'll put a chisel and hammer through that and see what there is. Always nice to pick up, a bit of bone. This looks to be Gyroceus, so a giant sturgeon-like fish. So there's lots of bits of it in this block. I doubt I'm going to take it home, but it might go in the bag just for the minute. But nice to see I can still find this stuff, as it had been a while. If you're struggling to find little eleganticiuses, I would always suggest find a nodule that's got this sort of line along it, and you'll see that where I've hit it on that edge, they pop open, and you sometimes find these little eleganticius ammonites chilling out in the middle. An incredibly warm multi-block of like little dak grasses. That unfortunately is too far gone for me to even want to consider taking it. But again, I like seeing fossils, so can't complain at that. As everyone who's seen the channel for a little bit knows, I love a good hildy, and this is a hildy. It is not a good one. A couple of little shells on the top as well, but someone's hit it and it's exploded badly, unfortunately. So that'll stay on the beach. So if you all remember this one, I said I'd put a chisel through. There we go. So a couple of little ellies. Not too shabby. Might take that one. We'll give that one away on the way back. We'll see. It's quite nice. Lots of little ones in it. Someone before me's found a fairly nice bone like Fragmacon and just left it. So the bullet shaped bit comes off that way. This is the bit that fans out towards where the tentacles and things would come off when the animal was alive. So this is what's called a little, or a cannonball nodule. They're very pyritic, tend to come in these nice little round forms. Saw an edge sticking out there, so give it a tap. As you can see, it's exploded a little bit, but there's a little eleganticeras in there with a couple of small ones nearby. So put that one in the bag for later. Something that people kind of take for granted when you see a block like this, you just see a big chunk of fossil wood, don't need to do anything. So I hit it, and the reason is blocks of wood often have layers of living things on them. So today, if you see a piece of floating wood, flotsam, jetsam, whichever it happens to be, in the sea, you'll see shells and growth on it. Same for these fossils. So a piece of wood on the other side, lots of shells that have been probably growing on it. I imagine whoever hit this originally has just had the same feeling I did and go, oh, that's a shame. Because you've got a keel of 1, 2, 3, 4, probably a fifth, all sat on top of each other. And it hit the rock and it's exploded. It's a shame. And this is what happens to ammonites when they've been left on the coast a long time. But it's quite nice because you can see the suture pattern. So there's there's basically each suture demarcates a chamber, and so you've got a chamber there, chamber there, chamber there, chamber there, all the way around. And as the animal grows, it basically moves from chamber to chamber and lives in the last section of one. This bit might come off, and there's probably a nicer bit there, but there's actually another ammonite in here. So I'm going to give that one a tap and see if that one will come out okay. As you can see, it was a bit stubborn and this bit broke apart, but the other side's okay. And this is the joy of the Yorkshire ammonites, is if you break the outer edge, you can normally just clear off the outer bit and make it a nice smaller one. So this middle section's not too bad, so we'll probably still take it even though it's a bit broken. And here's that same suture pattern on a much bigger piece of ammonite. So this thing's obviously very incomplete, but you can see the lovely leafy shaped patterns that make up these sutures in these ammonites, and then the chambers were calcite filled. I'm back again to Runswick Bay in a couple of days, so I hope you join me for the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.